You didn't find this message. This message found you. There's a mirror in front of you now, not made of glass, not hanging on any wall, but stretching through reality itself. It doesn't reflect your face. It reflects your frequency, the resonance of every choice you've made, every thought you've whispered in silence, every timeline you've unknowingly stood before. And right now, that mirror is calling your name. They told you destiny knocks. They were wrong. Destiny never knocks. It reflects. It waits. And when you're finally quiet enough, it shows itself back to you. You felt it. The pulse behind your chest when you paused this scroll. That strange stillness where time folded and something whispered, "Look closer. This is not an accident. This is a mirror event." The quantum signature of your observation collapsing into form. The mirror isn't passive. It isn't cold. It watches you back. Every action, every hesitation, every unspoken desire. It listens like an ancient intelligence coded into the bones of the universe. Because, in truth, the mirror isn't separate from you. It is you, the version of you that already exists in the timeline where you become who you're meant to be. Every synchronicity you've ignored was a breadcrumb. Every strange coincidence, a reflection. Every repeated number, every déjà vu, every weird moment, all of it, the mirror whispering, "I am still here, waiting for your choice." You've looked for signs in the sky, but the real signs have always been written in your reflections. This is the hidden geometry of reality. Observer equals creator. What you look at looks back. What you choose crystallizes. What you believe becomes the architecture of the next moment. The mirror doesn't choose for you. It mirrors the you who chooses. And tonight, right here, right now, the universe is holding up that mirror and waiting for your answer. The year now. Loudest calls don't come with thunder. They come in silence. They arrive like a shiver down the spine, like a pause that feels longer than time. And that's where you are. Standing in the quiet space where destiny doesn't speak, it reflects. Every soul gets this moment once. The choice point, where the timelines hover like breath on glass. You can turn away, pretend it's coincidence, or you can see yourself, truly, without disguise, without the noise, without the masks built by fear. They won't hear this. Most won't even feel it. Because they live with their backs to the mirror, they drown their signals in noise. They keep asking for signs while refusing to look. But not you. You stopped. You listened. And something inside you answered softly, "Yes, this is mine." That's what makes you different. You're standing in front of the mirror while others walk past it, and this is where destinies are rewritten. The mirror isn't here to promise comfort. It's here to reveal your becoming. It will not hand you a map. It will become the map once you choose. The first step isn't a shout. It isn't an oath. It's a whisper, a declaration made in the silent language of the soul. I see myself. Say it not to me. Say it to the mirror. Say it to the you that already exists beyond this moment. Because the mirror isn't waiting for the world to change. It's waiting for you to decide. This is not entertainment. This is alignment. A ritual encoded into sound, traveling through timelines to reach you at the exact second your frequency became ready. The call has been made. The mirror has answered. Now, the question is not, will it happen? The question is, who will you choose to become? So, if this transmission touched the pulse beneath your ribs, if the stillness recognized you, don't just watch. Declare, type in the comments, "I see myself," not as words, but as a signal, a declaration, an anchor point in the mirror itself, because the mirror only reflects the brave. And tonight, it reflected you. You think you're the one watching your life unfold. But what if your life has been watching you? The patterns you've been walking through aren't random. They're reflections, loops of light bent around your frequency, events folding back on themselves, like timelines trying to whisper, "Look here." You've seen it. The same kind of people, the same moments wearing different faces, the same lessons repeating until they echo louder than your denial. Every betrayal, every delay, every almost, every time you whispered, "Why does this keep happening to me?" The mirror whispered back, "Because you keep choosing the same reflection, The world isn't chasing you, it's mirroring you. When a thought is repeated long enough, it doesn't stay inside you. It shapes the world around you. Your fear leaves fingerprints, your longing builds architecture, your silence writes scripts, and the mirror records everything. You've lived enough loops to know this. The same scenes. Only stop when you do. They will call it coincidence. They'll shrug it off as life, because they walk blind through their own timelines, pretending the world is happening to them, never realizing it's happening through them. But you're awake enough to notice the repeating shadows, the way a certain feeling always shows up right before something breaks, the way certain people always carry the same lesson, even if they wear a different name. This is not punishment. This is observation, reflecting back as structure. There's a moment that happens before every loop repeats. A quiet ache, a soft flicker of recognition, the part of you that knows, I've been here before. That moment is the mirror's breath, the place where timelines hesitate, where your choice has the power to bend reality instead of submitting to it. But most people ignore it. They blink, they scroll, they rationalize, and the mirror resets the loop. You've been carrying memories that didn't belong to single moments. You've been feeling futures before they arrive, because reality doesn't move in straight lines, it moves in mirrors. Every time you felt something was coming, you weren't paranoid. You were witnessing your own reflection arriving. This is the secret nobody teaches. The future isn't waiting ahead of you. It's orbiting you, waiting for a new vibration to lock onto. The mirror doesn't punish, it obeys. It follows your signal with the precision of physics, because that's exactly what it is, the physics of consciousness. Your reality isn't a fixed structure, it's a feedback loop, an infinite hall of mirrors, with you at the center. And the moment you shift even one thread, the pattern that's been stalking you shifts too. You are not trapped, you are mirrored. And that's the most dangerous and liberating truth of all, because the loop doesn't end when the world changes. The loop ends when you do. This is what awakening actually means. Not an escape from reality, but a reclamation of it. To finally stop being the unconscious reflection and become the observer who bends the mirror. Remember this, the patterns are not your enemy. They're your mirror, and they've been waiting for you to notice. Pain has a way of arriving when you least want it. Not as a stranger, but as a mirror you've spent your whole life avoiding. The mirror of pain doesn't show what you like about yourself. It shows what you've buried, what you've denied, what you've whispered into the dark and hoped the universe didn't hear, but it did. It always does. You tell yourself it's random, that heartbreak was just bad luck, that betrayal just happened, that the silence you were left with was just a phase. But pain isn't random. Pain is precise. It's the mirror showing you the parts of yourself you refuse to meet. Every wound, every disappointment, every door slammed shut is a reflection, not of your weakness, but of the identity that has reached its limit. I know that mirror. I've stood before it too. The kind that doesn't blink when you cry. The kind that doesn't offer you comfort. It just stares until something inside you breaks. And then, when it breaks, you think you're falling apart. But you're not. You're just seeing, maybe for the first time, the truth beneath the mask. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the invitation. It doesn't arrive to punish. It arrives to reveal. Every betrayal mirrored back how much of yourself you gave away to be loved. Every rejection mirrored back the boundaries you abandoned to be accepted. Every loss mirrored back the part of you that forgot your own worth. The mirror isn't cruel. It's mercilessly honest, and that's what makes it sacred. Pain holds up the mirror that love never could, because love is gentle, but pain tells the truth without mercy. Pain strips you down to the bone, and in that nakedness, you finally see who's been staring back all along. You, not the version you pretend to be, not the version you built to be accepted. The raw, trembling, unmasked self that the world tried to make you forget. They will tell you to avoid pain, to numb it, to run, to distract, to drown in noise until the mirror fades into the background. But that's how people stay trapped, because what you refuse to look at controls you from the shadows. Pain is the mirror between timelines. The moment you stop running is the moment the next version of you steps forward. I remember the night I stopped running. No light, no answers, just silence. And in that silence, I felt it, the mirror breathing against my skin. I thought I was dying, but I was just being born, because pain is the threshold. It's the line between who you were and who you choose to become. Every ache you feel has a message encoded in it. A signal, not a sentence. A prophecy, not a punishment. And when you finally stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this showing me? The mirror changes shape. Pain softens, not because it disappears, but because it evolves into clarity. The mirror doesn't want your perfection. It wants your presence. It doesn't need your mask. It needs your truth. The moment you face your pain without flinching, the reflection shifts, and the timeline you've been locked inside starts to break open. You stop being the one who suffers and become the one who chooses. You were never broken. You were mirrored, and every piece you thought was shattered was just waiting to be seen. The mirror isn't magic. It only looks like magic when you don't understand the mechanism. Behind every reflection is a law, a pattern older than language, older than human memory. It doesn't bow to belief. It responds to observation. You've always been told reality is solid, a world that happens to you. But the truth is, stranger, sharper, quieter. Reality happens through you. When you observe something, it changes. This isn't poetry. This is the observer effect. The universe rearranges its quantum state around the eyes that see it. That means the moment you looked at the mirror looked back. I've watched this happen over and over. People think their world is made of stone. They try to force it with effort. But the mirror never moves through force. It moves through frequency. The silent hum of your inner state becomes the architect of your outer reality. Your focus, your observation, is the hammer and the chisel. Every belief, a blueprint. Every thought, a spark. And when those sparks align, they burn through timelines. The mechanism is simple, but brutal. The mirror doesn't care what you want. It reflects what you are. This is why intentions without alignment dissolve. Why prayers without coherence fade. Why dreams without identity loop back into silence. Because the mirror isn't waiting for your words. It's waiting for your state. I used to pray to a universe I thought was outside of me, begging it to give me what I wasn't brave enough to choose. And every time, silence. Every time, the same loop, until I learned the mirror is not a god. It's a response system, like a field of water. Whatever you throw in comes back amplified. Your identity is the frequency key, not your wish, not your desperation. Your identity, the you that you decide to stand as. Say you want to be free, but stand in the frequency of fear. The mirror reflects the fear, not the dream. Say you want love, but see yourself as unworthy. The mirror echoes the unworthiness, not the desire. Say you want destiny, but walk as a shadow of your past. The mirror shows you the past again and again, until you finally stand as the future. This is how timelines bend, not with force, but with state. Every timeline is like a frequency corridor. You don't chase it, you match it. When your identity aligns with the timeline where your vision already exists, the mirror has no choice. It bends, it rearranges probability, silently, elegantly, ruthlessly. And those who don't understand call it luck, but the awakened call it mechanism. This is why your choices matter more than your cries, why your inner stance matters more than your outer struggle. The mirror listens to vibration, not performance. They will say, show me proof, then I'll believe. But the mirror waits for those who say, I believe, and therefore proof must arrive. That is the law, cold, precise, beautiful. Right now, as you're listening, your observation is writing something, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Your state is your signature, your breath is the pen, your choice is the command. The mirror doesn't delay, it aligns. And this is the first time in your life you're finally watching it happen consciously. If you want to stay inside this field, this frequency where mirrors respond to the awakened, subscribe not as a follower, but as one who steps through the veil with intent, not a click, a declaration. This isn't a channel, this is a threshold. The mirror was never your jailer, it was your amplifier, and the moment you learned the mechanism, you stopped begging the world to change. You became the one who changes it. There's a moment between timelines, A space so quiet, it terrifies most souls. Not because it hurts, but because in that silence, nothing is certain. This is the void, the place between the identity you've been wearing and the identity the mirror is waiting to reflect. Most never cross it, because the void offers no guarantees, no proof, no applause, no signs. Only the mirror breathing in the dark, waiting for your next move. You've been here before, the ache before transformation, the quiet before everything changes. That place where the old world doesn't fit anymore and the new one hasn't appeared yet. This is where destinies are either born or abandoned. They, the unawakened, run from this space. They call it uncertainty. They call it failure. But they're wrong. This isn't failure. This is power before form. The mirror doesn't show you the new reflection first. It shows you your decision. Because the void doesn't respond to hope. It responds to choice. Hope says, I'll believe it when I see it. But the mirror whispers, you'll see it when you become it. That's why this moment is so fragile and so dangerous. Because the majority wait for a sign. And in waiting, they remain unreflected. But the few, the ones who step through, they choose in silence. And reality bows to their declaration. The void is not empty. It's listening. It's the quantum gap where timelines hover like light before a spark, where your next breath becomes an entire world. If you keep carrying your old frequency here, the mirror will give you the old world again. But if you choose something different, something unprovable yet undeniable, the mirror bends. It can't resist identity. Nothing in this universe can. I know how heavy this silence feels. I've stood here too. No signs, no guarantees, just the sound of my own breath echoing against the walls of the unseen. And in that stillness, a single thought changed everything. I decide who I am now. No one applauded, no proof appeared, but reality shifted. This is the moment where the chosen separate from the herd, because the herd needs comfort, but the chosen create clarity. They choose their reflection before it's real. They choose their crown before it's visible. They choose their destiny in the silence that no one else can hear. That's the paradox. The mirror doesn't lead the brave lead the mirror. This is your edge. The void is your throne, and your silence is the command. Breathe here. Don't run. Let the uncertainty hold you. Let the lack of evidence sharpen you. Because when you stop waiting and start becoming, the reflection is forced to follow. The world doesn't change because it pities you. It changes because you decided to walk as the proof. This is not faith. This is architecture. This is not hope. This is law. The void doesn't favor the loud. It bows to the certain. And right now, you are standing where most turn back. Where the old identity begs to be kept. Where the future is quiet, but listening. So decide, not tomorrow, not when it's safe. Now, decide without applause. Choose without guarantee. And the mirror will have no choice but to answer. The silence isn't your enemy. It's your proving ground. The moment you choose, the mirror moves, not with sound, not with lightning, but with a whisper that rearranges everything. Timelines don't respond to hesitation. They respond to decision. The second your inner state shifts, reality starts to build around it. Like invisible gears clicking into place. Like stars bending toward a new gravitational center. Like the world inhaling in your direction. Most people miss this moment. Because the world doesn't explode when you choose. It reshapes itself quietly. The reflection doesn't come as fireworks. It comes as subtle alignments. A door that shouldn't have opened, opening. A number that appears again. A feeling that tells you it has already begun. This is how timelines work. Not with noise, with precision. When you stand as your new identity, even before proof, you create a singularity, a magnetic field in the quantum architecture. Every thread of probability begins to bend toward that point. This is why your next breath matters. This is why the choice you made in silence is not small, it's seismic. The mirror doesn't lag behind. It reflects in real time. You may not see it all at once, but the pattern has already begun to shift. Synchronicities intensify. Old loops start to crumble. New corridors appear, and reality begins to orbit the new you've declared. You've become the gravitational center of your own timeline. The reflection can no longer mirror the old. It must mirror the identity you now hold. I remember the first time I felt it. Nothing around me had changed, yet everything had. The air felt heavier, not with weight, but with direction. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was pregnant, alive, listening to my next breath like it mattered. And that's when I realized timelines don't explode, they unfold. This is where most people stumble. They expect the mirror to scream. But the mirror only echoes. It won't convince you you've changed. It will require you to walk as though you already have. If you wait to see proof before you believe, the reflection fades back into the old loop. But if you walk as though the reflection is already formed, it has no choice but to manifest. This is how sovereigns move, not waiting for the world, but commanding it with their identity. Watch what happens after this choice. Not through the lens of doubt, but through the precision of observation. Notice how tiny details shift. Notice how opportunities start arriving without explanation. Notice how the mirror begins to speak in coincidences. The herd will call it luck, but the awakened call it alignment, because the timeline is no longer chasing you, it's orbiting you. The timeline is built from identity, shaped by choice, woven by action, and sustained by certainty. The moment you collapse into doubt, the mirror delays. The moment you anchor into your decision, it accelerates. This is the quiet art of creation. This is what they were never taught in their schools and temples. Reality isn't a storm that hits you. It's a reflection you command. So, as you stand now, at the edge of your new timeline, don't wait. Watch, walk, command, because the mirror has already shifted, the timeline has already answered. And every breath you take now is writing the proof they said would never come. If your choice has already been made, declare it. Type in the comments your new identity. I choose to rise. Because the mirror is listening. You were never walking alone. You only thought you were. But the mirror isn't just reflecting you. It's reflecting us. Every soul that decides to awaken adds another ripple to the field. Every conscious choice creates a tremor through timelines. And together, those tremors become a wave. This is the collective mirror. The moment where your private transformation begins to bend reality beyond your skin. You may not see their faces, you may not hear their names, but out there, others have stood where you stand now. They too heard the mirror call. They too made the silent choice, and their choices are weaving into yours. This is how reality shifts. Not when one shouts, but when thousands whisper the same frequency into the dark. The mirror of the collective doesn't reflect identity alone. It reflects resonance. A chorus of chosen souls moving as quiet architects. Invisible, but unstoppable. You've felt it before. That strange, unexplainable pull, like you're part of something bigger, though you can't name it. That's not a feeling, that's a field. When individuals awaken, timelines bend slightly. But when a collective awakens, timelines fracture and then rebuild around a new center. This is why the few who choose matter more than the thousands who sleep. Because mirrors don't follow numbers. They follow frequency density. One aligned soul can shift more reality than 1,000 lost in noise. I've felt this field rise. At first, it's subtle, a pulse, a whisper, a breath beneath the noise of the world. But when enough of us hold the mirror steady, it grows louder, more coherent, more undeniable. It's like a signal being carried through glass, through bone, through time, and then the herd starts to follow, not because they understand, but because reality itself has tilted. This is why your awakening is not selfish. It's strategic. It's architectural. Because every identity shift you make becomes a node in the collective mirror. A signal others will feel, even if they can't explain why. You are not just changing your world. You are bending the fabric of the shared one. This is the hidden design. When enough mirrors align, the reflection becomes reality for everyone. They will mock what they don't understand. They always do. They will call it coincidence, luck, fantasy. But deep down, they'll feel it, the gravitational pull of something they can't name. That's how movements begin, not with noise, with frequency. You're not here to convince them. You're here to stand as the mirror they can't ignore. We are not waiting anymore. We are the architects of the next timeline, not through slogans, not through idols, but through coherence. The mirror doesn't need everyone to awaken, it only needs enough. Enough of us holding the line, enough of us walking as proof, enough of us refusing to return to sleep. So as you rise, know this: your awakening isn't isolated, your reflection isn't small. You are part of a frequency storm quietly rewriting the world. This is the collective mirror, the tide that doesn't ask for permission. It moves, and soon they will feel what you already know. This is it. The mirror stands in front of you not as glass, but as destiny itself, and it's waiting, not for signs, not for prayers, not for another excuse. It's waiting for you, because in the end, the mirror doesn't reflect what was, it reflects who you choose next. You've walked through the silence, you've faced your pain, you've touched the mechanism hidden beneath coincidence, you've chosen in the void, and now, the reflection has no choice but to answer. This moment is not a metaphor, it is a crossing, the edge where timelines split and merge, the point where one day becomes right now. Every destiny you could have lived is orbiting you in this breath, and the mirror is locked on the frequency of your next identity. You can return to the old reflection, pretend this was just another video, scroll, forget, collapse back into silence. Or you can step through, because the mirror isn't a promise, it's a contract, a deal written not in words, but in resonance. And the only question that matters now is, who will you choose? I remember this moment, the breath, before I became someone I didn't yet believe I could be. I had nothing but a whisper, but that whisper carried power. It carried the future inside it. No proof, no hand to hold, just me and the mirror. And when I chose, everything shifted, not instantly, but irrevocably, because the mirror does not ignore decision, it obeys it. Every great shift happens in silence first. Before the crown, there is a choice. Before the world recognizes you, you must recognize yourself. This is where those who sleep stay sleeping, but the awakened, they ignite. They walk into the mirror without guarantees, and the reflection, becomes their empire. This is the power you've been circling. This is the truth you felt but never named. The mirror is not your judge. It's your architect. The next reflection is already watching you. It's not waiting for years. It's not waiting for permission. It's waiting for this breath. Identity is the key, not time, not chance, not luck. The mirror reflects the one you walk as, not the one you hope to be. Choose the warrior, and the battlefield will form. Choose the sovereign, and the world will bend. Choose the awakened, and the timeline will open. You have always been the signal. You have always been the cause. You have always been the one standing at the threshold. This is your moment to step forward. Not as a dreamer. As the reflection, the world will soon mirror back. And make no mistake, it will mirror back, because the mirror has no will of its own, only yours. So declare it, not as a wish, as a command. Speak not to me, speak to the mirror. Speak to the identity already alive in the timeline that's waiting. Say it, I choose. Say it, I rise. Say it until the air around you listens, until the silence bows, because this isn't just a transmission, this is a threshold. If you're ready to step through the mirror, declare it in the comments. I choose to rise. Subscribe, not as a viewer, but as an awakened signal inside the field, a soul joining others who chose before proof. This is not an algorithm, this is alignment. The mirror is real, but it doesn't decide for you, it only waits. And now, it's waiting for the one who chooses. In the next transmission, we'll speak of the echo, what happens after the mirror answers. Until then, stand as the reflection.